Today we're continuing our custom Gen 1 center console by adding power distribution module. Hey guys, hello, we keep it dirty off-road, and we're continuing our center console build by adding power. Now this is to solve an issue that we've had from the beginning. I have two radios and an intercom system that has to get power. Plus, if I want to add any more cigarette lighter ports, aside from those two, I need a way to route power. Now, rather than route multiple ground and hot wires from the battery and have this looks like a spider nest after, adding a stereo, adding relays, this could easily get out of control. I wanted a cleaner solution. So we started looking into power distribution modules and came up with this little guy. So let's unbox it really quick. The reason I picked this distribution module is because it comes with everything you need. It's fused and it has a light to let you know if any fuse is bad. It also comes with all the connectors that you're going to need, all the rubber grommets to kind of protect it, and the kit itself. And it can do up to 8 different inputs, handles a maximum of 40 amps. You wire the DC in there, and then everything after that is fused. And the main benefit of these is that you can do distributed power. You run a single lead from the battery here, and this does distributed power to every other device connected to it. And it's filtered distributed power, so they're not going to interfere with each other, which is key. These are very common for scenarios where you want to run multiple VHF radios in your truck, and they're relatively affordable. You can get a couple of these. There's a big company out there. I think it's Front Runner. I don't know. I'll put the link here and put some details on there. It's a company that makes them. Theirs is basically the same thing as this, but this kit comes with everything you need, all the connectors and all that stuff. We're going to go ahead and get this installed probably towards the back of the center console. I think that's the only place I really have space. I don't really have space up front under all the plates, and I'm going to use it to send power to my regular radio, the intercom, and the new radio, so that I can run 2 radios and an intercom, and that'll take up just 3 slots. Then I have 4 more slots to do whatever the hell I want. Well, more than 4, but whatever. The good thing is that everything's going to have dedicated power. I'm going to have simplified cabling by only having to run a single wire, and everything's going to be well protected and well distributed, and it's going to give me room to grow, which is key, right? I always want the ability to grow in case I change my mind, because I change my mind often. So let's get to it. Now, first thing you need to do is you need to run a cable from your battery to that power source. Now, because this is for your VHF radio, it's best that you run both hot and ground from the battery. So this is what you see here. What we did is we used our existing wiring. There was only one. We ended up running it through there, and then we drilled a hole in our firewall and used a grommet. I used one of these grommets. Now, I had the plans for a couple of things to run. I ran a large cable for a stereo upgrade, and I ran a relay. So I ended up using one of these because I needed something larger to run all the cables. If this is your first major run into the cab, you can actually use the factory harness and see how there's a little nipple right there? You can actually cut that nipple and run your cables through that and have it be waterproof. So if that's all you're running, then that should be enough. That cable then comes out from under here, and we run it through there. See that red and black line? Run it all the way there. We will reuse this connector that we have on the other side. That'll go all the way to the back. Now that connector right now is currently powering both the regular radio and the intercom system. So we need to split that up and split off the connection so that everything has a plug-in wire. We're gonna end up mounting it right here. And I think to make my life a little bit easier, we're gonna use Velcro to mount it. It's a power center. It probably shouldn't have direct contact with the console anyways. So I think we're gonna use this. This stuff is really solid. We've used it quite a bit on, stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna use to hold it on down there at the bottom. We've already been playing with those connectors. The connectors are a little finicky, but they work. They work and they make things easier to connect. So these connectors are kind of finicky. I've actually already messed up 2 and lost the connector in there because I was doing it wrong. So here's the trick. So see how there's a little curvature on these? See that? So a little curvature has to go in like that because it actually goes in and hooks in right at the end and pops out. So if you look inside, there's a little piece of metal. You're supposed to go through it. It hooks.
Come on, focus, you bitch.
It hooks so that it can't fall out. It is a pain in the butt to get in. Sometimes they go in like it's nothing, and then others, and then you'll see it. You want to hear that very satisfying click. Saying like, the red one's never going easy. Click, you bitch.
Maybe if I spit on it.
And you have to be careful because if you pull it out, sometimes when you pull it out, you lose a connector in there and it's stuck forever. But yes, they are a pain in the butt. They're all a little finicky to get installed. So make sure you get that click. If you don't get the click, it means it did not work.
Hot glue it.
No, these are electrical connectors. That click matters.
Super glue. Is that the click?
Nope.
Come on, get the satisfying click, Dad.
I think
Oh,
it's because I let too much cable out. Annoying. Okay, I'm gonna get this fixed. Then we're gonna time lapse. Okay, now that we have our wire harness done, we're not done. We actually have to switch out the fuses to the right size. So I know each radio has 15 and 15. I think the Traxxas is only 5. So that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to switch out the fuses so that wherever we're connecting, it's 15 for the top radio, 15 for the bottom radio, and I think 5 or 10 for the intercom system. And there we go. We had two 15 amp, 10 amp. We got our cables routed, so we can run it up there. All I gotta do now is put it all back together. Also, don't forget to update the fuses over here because the previous setup was only about a 20 amp draw. That's all they had. So I need to update the fuses here at the battery to 40 amps. I gotta go buy some now. Putting it all back together will be for another video, guys, though, because I actually need to take my console off to do my next big project, which is a full stereo upgrade on this thing. So make sure you guys stay informed by subscribing, right? If you guys want to see how to do a full stereo install on a Gen 1, and we're gonna do a dual amp setup with a big ass subwoofer. We're gonna upgrade all the speakers and everything. All right, guys, question comments below. Please consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.